Listen and practice.
Little Molly goes to bed, but she cannot fall asleep. She sits up. She lies down again. Still, she cannot sleep. It is not fun at all. Molly wants to sleep. What can she do? Mommy teaches Molly a trick. It will help her fall asleep. It is fun and easy. What is it? Counting sheep. Close your eyes and try it. Imagine a small wall, not too high and not too low, just right for sheep to jump over. Now, imagine a flock of sheep. How many are there? Let's count them. Count the sheep as they jump over the wall. 1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep, 4. Molly begins to count the sheep. 10, 11, 12. Keep your eyes closed. Keep counting, Molly. Watch the sheep and count. 100, 101, 102. Count. What's that sound? It's the sound of Molly sleeping.
Listen and practice.
Sometimes it is fun being tall. Sometimes it is not. Sure, I can always reach things for my mom, dad, sister, or teacher. But sometimes I would rather be short. I am always the tallest one in pictures. Sometimes I wish people didn't notice me as much. Another boy, John, is the shortest kid in our class. He told me that he wished people didn't notice him as much either. We became friends because we feel the same in a strange way. When we play basketball together, people say, "It's a lot of fun to watch a game with the school's tallest and shortest boys on the same team." It's true, you know. You can't be too tall or too short. It's just the way you are.
Listen and practice.
Kenny was going on an adventure. Where was he going? He was going to the grocery store. He was going to get some groceries all by himself. Kenny's mom gave him a list and some money. You need to get bread, milk, and butter, she told him. And be sure to use the crosswalk and to look both ways when crossing the street. Kenny walked to the crosswalk. He looked both ways carefully. Then he looked again, just to be sure there were no cars coming. Finally, he crossed the street and went into the store. Kenny gave the grocery list to the clerk. "I want bread, milk, and butter," he told the clerk. "Here is the money." The clerk put the things in a bag and handed it to Kenny with some change. Kenny was excited. He walked back safely and made his way home. He had had a wonderful adventure.
Listen and practice.
Our teacher asked us to write a paper. "I want everyone to write a paper for me," said the teacher. "In the paper, tell me what you want to be when you grow up." "I want to work in a store and sell things," said Bill. "I want to coach a baseball team," cried Sam. "I want to be a writer and write books for people to read," said Cheryl. "I want to be a fireman," said Jerry, "and maybe a policeman too." All of the children were excited. All except Joey. "I can't make up my mind," he said. "I want to be a lot of different things." The teacher smiled. "Then that's what you should write," she told him. "Write about all the things you want to be. One day you'll know which one to choose. For right now, wanting to be a lot of things is just right."
Listen and practice.
That is the sound of your heart beating. What an amazing muscle! It works all day. It works all night. Your heart pumps blood to all the parts of your body. It pumps blood to your head, your fingers, and your feet. And it weighs only about half a kilogram. But it's a very strong muscle. It beats 100,000 times a day. That's 35 million times a year. Wow! In your lifetime, your heart will beat about 2.5 billion times. You know what else is really amazing? Your heart does all of this without you even giving it a thought. It just keeps working. Most hearts beat about 70 times every minute. See for yourself. Put your hand on your wrist. Feel your heart beating. Now, count how many times it beats in a minute. Take care of your heart. Eat well, sleep well, and get lots of exercise. That way, your heart will be strong and keep on beating.
Listen and practice.
My grandpa always says, "The world is a beautiful place if you just open your eyes. Now, I know what he means. One time, my friend's family invited me to go with them for a balloon ride. We all got in the basket. Then we started to lift off the ground. I got scared and closed my eyes. When I opened one eye, I saw the trees below us. I quickly shut my eyes again. Suddenly, my friend yelled, "Look!" A huge flock of geese was flying right by us. For a while, we blew right along with them. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. It was an amazing sight. Just imagine. All I had to do was open my eyes. Good advice, Grandpa.
Listen and practice.
It was a day Tony would never forget. He was playing with his friends in the yard. All of a sudden, there was a strange noise. Then, everything started to shake. Tony saw that his house was moving. Dogs were barking. Chickens were running around in fear. A horse was standing upright on its back legs. What was it? Tony had no idea. Some of the kids fell down, and others were trying to keep from falling. A woman ran outside and shouted, "Hurry! It's an earthquake! Get away from the building!" Tony was so scared that he couldn't move. The woman grabbed him and led him away from the building. It was his first earthquake. Tony was shocked to learn that the ground he stood on every day could shake. That shaking could hurt a lot of people.
Listen and practice.
Amy is not happy. She cannot find her favorite pen. She looks all over the house. She looks under the bed. She looks in her desk. She looks in the kitchen and in her book bag, but she cannot find it. Amy is really upset. Amy wants to cry. She cries to her mother, "Mom, my pen is lost." Mom says, "Don't cry. I will help you look for it." When Mom goes downstairs, she laughs. "Why are you laughing, Mom?" Mom says, "Check behind your ear." And as Amy checks her ear, she finds her pen. She had put it there earlier. Now she is happy.
Listen and practice.
Joey has a pet. Her name is Goldie. She lives in a bowl. Goldie is a fish, a shiny goldfish. Once a week, Joey takes Goldie out of her bowl. He cleans her bowl so she can grow strong and healthy. When Joey's parents gave him Goldie, they said, "You will have to learn to take care of her." So, Joey started learning a lot about fish. Joey used to think fish did not breathe. How can they breathe in the water? He thought. When I swim, I cannot breathe if I put my head under the water. But fish get air in a different way. They have gills on the sides of their heads. Joey learned that water has oxygen in it. The water passes through the gills. The fish get their oxygen from the water. When Joey cleans the fish bowl, he puts Goldie in a small glass of water. That way, she can breathe while he cleans her home.
Listen and practice.
The day had come. Grandma was moving out of her big house. I was sad. I had a lot of memories in that house. I asked where Grandma was moving to. My dad just said, "Somewhere nearby. Don't worry." But I was worried. I spent a lot of time with Grandma. I could tell that no one wanted to tell me because they knew I would be sad. It must be far away, I thought to myself. We got all of Grandma's things in the truck. I sat beside her in the car. We talked the whole time. After a while, the truck stopped. I looked out to see her new home. It was our house. Grandma was coming to live with us.
Listen and practice.
Billy is 6 years old. He visits his uncle and aunt every summer. They live on a farm. They have cows, chickens, sheep, and a big horse on the farm. Billy loves all the animals. This summer, he is going to learn how to milk a cow. Wow! His friends cannot believe it. We get our milk from the store, they say, but our friend is going to get it from a cow. Billy laughs. Milk does not come from the store, he says. Milk comes from a cow. His friends do not believe him, but his teacher says, yes, milk comes from cows. Cows eat grass. They change the grass into milk. The farmer sells the milk, and we buy it in the stores. The teacher tells them one more thing. Did you know that cows have 4 stomachs? The kids are surprised, but it's true.
Listen and practice.
One day, Turtle lost his footing and rolled down a river bank. He landed belly up on his shell. The river bank was very muddy, and Turtle was stuck. "Help! Help!" called Turtle. Cat came strolling by. "What's wrong?" asked the cat. "I'm stuck. Can you roll me over?" asked Turtle. Cat pushed Turtle over onto his belly. Turtle swam away and said, "Thanks, Cat. I'll remember this." Not long after, Cat was chasing a squirrel on a tree. Snap! The tree branch cracked and fell. Cat landed on a large rock in the middle of the river. "Help! Help!" called Cat. Turtle came swimming by. "What's wrong?" asked Turtle. "I can't swim. Can you carry me to land?" asked Cat. "Sure," said Turtle. "Climb onto my back." Cat rode to safety on the back of her new friend, Turtle.
Listen and practice.
You do it all the time. If you stopped doing it, you would be in trouble. What is it? It's breathing. Everyone needs air. We breathe without even thinking about it. It's automatic. But how do we do it? Well, put your hand on your chest. Take a deep breath of air. Do you feel your chest getting bigger? Now let the air out. Feel how small it gets? Inside your chest are two large sacs. They're like big balloons. They are your lungs. When you breathe in, your lungs fill up with air. Breathe out, and the air goes out too. Most people take 22,000 breaths of air each day. Your lungs work really hard. That's why you should take good care of your lungs. Do not smoke. Get exercise and breathe deeply. One more thing. When you yawn, it means you're not getting enough air. Your lungs are telling you to take another big breath.
Listen and practice.
It's always fun to learn about words. Sometimes, if we know where a word comes from, it is easier to understand its meaning. Take the word panic, for example. This popular English word comes from the Greek language. Many English words are based on this ancient language. Pan was the Greek god of shepherds. He was half man, half animal. He liked to hunt and play music. He liked to walk through the woods playing his special flute. He often frightened people with his strange appearance. When people met him, they were so fearful that they did not know what to do. They were in a panic. This is the origin of the word panic. A person in a panic is frightened and confused. Often, people in a panic do foolish things.
Listen and practice.
An old lady lives on our street. She is very rich. One day, I saw her bending down, trying to pick something up off the ground. She was having a hard time. So I came over and asked if I could help. She told me there was a penny on the ground. I wondered why a rich lady was worried about a penny. "Oh, I don't need it," she said, "but it is good luck to find a penny." I gave her the penny and walked away. Just then, the old lady called me back. She put the coin in my shirt pocket and said, "It will bring you extra good luck because you helped me." At home, I pulled out the coin. I was surprised. She hadn't given me the penny. She had given me a dollar coin.
Listen and practice.
One day, when I walked into the kitchen, I saw my mom crying. "Mommy, what happened? Why are you sad?" I asked. Mom smiled at me. "I have tears in my eyes," she said, "but I am not sad. I am cutting onions, as you can see," Mom said. Onions have a strong chemical that hurts our eyes. But don't worry, our body is amazing. It senses the danger of this chemical and sends tears to our eyes to get rid of it. Tears protect our eyes from danger. That is interesting. I learned something else too. All animals cry to protect their eyes. But humans are the only animals that cry when they are sad. I love learning about my body. It all seems to work perfectly. The more I learn about it, the more amazed I am.
Listen and practice.
Little Freddy was having trouble in school. His mom was worried. So she took Freddy to see a doctor. Dr. Adams gave him an eye test. He told Freddy that he did not see as well as the other kids. "Your eyes are weak," said Dr. Adams. "You have trouble seeing what the teacher writes on the board. That's why you need to get eyeglasses." "Oh no!" Freddy cried. "I don't want to wear glasses. The kids will make fun of me." His mom said, "Don't you want to do better in school?" The doctor said, "You have a problem with your eyesight. Wearing glasses will help prevent it from getting worse. Some people can even go blind if they don't take care of this problem. I'm sure your friends will understand." That night, Freddy decided that it was better to wear glasses than to grow up and become blind.
Listen and practice.
An old lady lives on our street. She is very rich. One day, I saw her bending down, trying to pick something up off the ground. She was having a hard time. So I came over and asked if I could help. She told me there was a penny on the ground. I wondered why a rich lady was worried about a penny. "Oh, I don't need it," she said, "but it is good luck to find a penny." I gave her the penny and walked away. Just then, the old lady called me back. She put the coin in my shirt pocket and said, "It will bring you extra good luck because you helped me." At home, I pulled out the coin. I was surprised. She hadn't given me the penny. She had given me a dollar coin.
Listen and practice.
There once was a man who was very lazy. Every day a farmer would tell the man, "If you help me bring in my crops, I will give you food." But the lazy man would always answer, "Maybe tomorrow." The summer turned to winter. One day the lazy man did not have any food left. So he went to the farmer and knocked on his door. He asked, "Can I work for some food today?" The farmer said, "I'm sorry, there's no more work to be done." The man walked away. He sat by the side of the road. He was really hungry. Later, the farmer came up to him and said, "If you help me cut wood, I'll give you some food." Then the farmer smiled and said, "Or would you like to wait until tomorrow?" The man jumped up and started to work immediately.
Listen and practice.
Mahatma Gandhi was a simple man who did great things. He led his country to independence, and the way he did it was amazing. He did not believe in violence. He did not believe in fighting or in wars. He believed in talking things out. The Indian people agreed with him. In 1947, India became a free country. Gandhi lived a poor life by choice. He was a well-educated lawyer. He earned a good salary. But he saw the poor people around him and decided to help them. He learned how to live in the simplest way possible and still be healthy. He ate mostly fruit, goat's milk, and olive oil. He wore only a simple rag as clothing. But people followed him. They could see that he was honest. Gandhi spoke his native language. He also learned English. But he spoke English with an Irish accent. Why? His first English teacher was Irish.
Listen and practice.
My name is Leo. My family is from the Ojibwe tribe. At first, I didn't think this was special. But that was before I learned how interesting my people are. We lived in North America long before anyone else. Some people think we might have come from Asia thousands of years ago. In those days, my people lived off the land. We never did anything that would cause pollution. We respected the earth. We respected each other. We never wasted anything either. The water, the trees, and the land were very special to us. Today, the whole world thinks about these things, but we have always been like this. I am proud of the history of the native people. I am also proud to be a Canadian.
Listen and practice.
Jan loves animals. He wants a pet. There is only one problem. His family lives in a very small apartment. He begs his parents to let him have a puppy. But his father says, A puppy is small, but puppies grow into big dogs. We have no space for a dog. So, Jan asks for a kitten. His mom looks at her son. She wants him to have a pet, but the apartment is so small. We cannot get a kitten either, she says. Kittens become cats, and cats are big. Jan is sad, but he understands. Then, one day, he comes home from school and sees something on his table. It's a bowl filled with water. Inside is a pretty little goldfish. It is swimming around and around. Jan laughs with joy. Now, Jan has a pet. He calls his goldfish Goldie. Goldie is his very best friend.
Listen and practice.
Today in school, we learned something amazing. Nearly 2,500 people in Canada go blind each year because they injure their eyes. Our eyes weigh only 28 grams, but they are really important. Imagine what it would be like if you could not see. Luckily, our bodies are designed to protect our eyes. Our eyebrows keep salty sweat from running into our eyes. Our eyelashes keep dirt from getting into our eyes. And tears wash away any dirt that gets past our eyelashes. Want to hear something amazing? We blink our eyes 10 million times a year. Each time we blink, a little water enters our eyes and washes dust and dirt away. Did you know that you cannot sneeze with your eyes open? It's true. Next time you feel a sneeze coming, see if you can keep your eyes open while you sneeze. You won't be able to.
Listen and practice.
When I was a little girl, I was afraid of the wind. It made lots of noise and made everyone feel cold. I don't like wind, I told my father. Father smiled. One day, as the wind was blowing strongly, I cried, "Look at the trees! They are all bent. I think it's trees that cause wind. Let's cut down all the trees. Then there will be no more wind." Father laughed. He told me that trees don't create wind. Instead, trees slow down the wind. But where does the wind come from? I asked. It comes from the air. Moving air is wind. Air and wind are part of the natural world, explained my father. Without wind, the hot areas would be too hot, and the cold areas would be too cold. It would be a big problem for our world. I still get nervous when a strong wind blows, but I always remember the way my father took the time to explain it to me.
Listen and practice.
Little Henry really likes fishing. He and his dad spend a lot of time fishing on the river. Most times, Henry catches fish and throws them back into the river. Sometimes he has a competition with Dad to see who can catch the biggest fish. It is Saturday again. Henry sits on the riverbank for almost an hour. Still, no fish bite. His dad smiles and says, "Fishing is a sport. It exercises your patience." No problem. Henry loves fishing, even when he is not catching fish. He enjoys the river. He loves watching the birds on the water. Suddenly, Henry feels something. He feels a tug at the end of the fishing rod. "Dad, it's a big one!" Henry cries. His dad comes to help. Henry pulls and pulls. In his mind, he imagines a huge fish. Finally, he brings it out of the water. But it is not a fish. It's a turtle.
Listen and practice.
Mr. Thanh is 70 years old. He lives in a village in Vietnam. He worked hard all his life as a rice farmer, but now he is retired. He spends his days enjoying his old age. There is one thing you should know about Mr. Thanh. Mr. Thanh never went to school. When he was a boy, he had to go to work. Now Mr. Thanh has a dream. He wants to learn to read. He wants to read to his grandchildren. Last year, a new teacher came to the school in his village. The teacher opened a night class to teach adults to read. Of course, Mr. Thanh signed up right away. Now he goes to school 2 nights a week. It is not easy, but already he can read more than 500 words. Mr. Thanh is dreaming about the day he will be able to read to his grandchildren. It makes him very happy to think about it.
Listen and practice.
Becky loves to win. She wants to be the first in everything. One day, we were out biking. Becky was in front. It bothered me that my friend always had to be in charge. I felt angry. I started to pedal faster, and I passed her. Soon, she passed me again. When we reached a corner, I ran right into Becky. We both went flying and landed on the grass. I hurt my knee, and Becky's elbow was badly bruised. Our parents took us to the hospital. I felt terrible. I wanted to win so much that I cut across the lawn and we collided, I said. It's my fault, Becky said. Instead of letting you pass, I had to win. I'm sorry. I gave my best friend a hug. We had both grown up a little that day, but it was a painful lesson.
Listen and practice.
My grandma was coming for a visit on her birthday. What was so special about that? Grandma was turning 100 years old, but even more amazing, she was traveling by airplane. Mom says flying is not easy. What if Grandma got lost at the airport? What if she got sick on the plane? Many things could go wrong. We were nervous. We went to the airport early. Then we saw her. Grandma was with the pilot. He was smiling. Grandma waved. I ran to give her a hug. The pilot said, "When I heard she was coming to celebrate her 100th birthday, I knew how lucky I was. She is the oldest passenger I have ever had fly on my plane." I gave Grandma a big kiss. She smiled and said, "On my 101st birthday, maybe I will dive in the ocean." We all laughed. Grandma is not afraid of anything.
Listen and practice.
Mr. Slow and Mr. Fast are friends, but they are not the same. Mr. Slow always takes his time. He talks slowly, he walks slowly. He even takes a long time to eat. Mr. Slow is really slow. Mr. Fast is the opposite. He is always in a hurry. He talks fast, he walks fast, he even rushes when he eats. Mr. Fast is really fast. One day, the two men went to a restaurant. As usual, Mr. Fast ordered his food right away. Mr. Slow took a long time to decide what he wanted. Mr. Fast finished eating before Mr. Slow even got his meal. Still, Mr. Fast waited for his friend. "Take your time," he said quickly. "You are slow like a turtle. I am fast like a rabbit. But I can wait because you are my friend."
Listen and practice.
There are many kinds of hair. There is long hair and short hair. There is straight hair and curly hair. Some people have black or brown hair. Other people have red or blonde hair. Some people lose their hair when they get old. Other people's hair turns gray. It usually takes many years for a person's hair to turn gray. But something strange happened to my father. His hair was black when he went to bed. By morning, it had turned completely gray. Why? Dad had been feeling very stressed lately. He had lost his job. He was worried about his family. He was worried about paying the bills. He was worried about feeding us. He was worrying all the time. The doctor said that what happened to my dad does not happen often, but it does happen. Worry and stress are very bad. They can turn hair gray overnight.
Listen and practice.
Irene doesn't like it when her mother goes to work. Every day she begs her mom to stay home. Can you please stay home? Can you pick me up from school? Please, Mom. But her mother always says, "No, honey, I need to work." Irene doesn't understand. "Why?" she asks. Mom explains it to her. "We need money to pay for our food, house, car, books, and toys." I go to work to make money for us. Irene quickly replies, "No, Mom. When you need money, you just go to the bank to get it." Then she adds, "I saw that the other day." Mom laughs and says, "Yes, I can go to the bank to get money, but that's only possible once I have earned the money and put it in a bank account."
Listen and practice.
Jimmy is crying. He doesn't want to get his hair cut. He is afraid. It is his first time going to a barber. He does not like the sounds in a barber shop. There are many strange smells, too. Mr. Howard, the barber, smiles. "Hello, Jimmy," he says. "So, this is your first haircut. I will take good care of you." He begins to cut. Jimmy closes his eyes. "Please don't cut my ear," he cries. As he works, the barber talks to Jimmy. "Do you know that people who have red hair like you have only 90,000 hairs on their head? People who have black hair have more than 110,000 hairs." That is interesting, thinks Jimmy. The average hair lives about 5.5 years, and we lose about 100 hairs a day, says Mr. Howard. Jimmy likes the barber. In no time at all, the barber says, "You can open your eyes now." Jimmy cannot believe it. It didn't hurt. It was fun. And he learned something interesting about hair.
Listen and practice.
Every year, we have a race at school to see who can run the fastest. And every year, my friend Jim wins. This year, I decided to work very hard to beat Jim. I trained very hard and ran every day. Finally, the day of the race came. Everyone got ready at the start line. Then the gun went off with a bang. I was in the lead, but I could tell Jim was catching up fast. Soon we were running together. It was the last turn before the finish line. We ran side by side. It was fun. We did not care who won anymore. We could always share the prize. We were having so much fun that we did not notice that another boy had passed us both. Ron zipped by at the very last second. In the end, Jim and I shared second place.
Listen and practice.
We boil the egg. When it has cooled, Mom hits the shell with a spoon. The shell doesn't break. It protects the inside of the egg. She says, "Your teeth have a shell too. It is called enamel." Now, the fun part. We fill the jar with vinegar. Then we put the egg inside and close the jar with a lid. Now we wait. What will happen? It is exciting. 2 days later, we open the jar. The eggshell has become really soft. It is breaking into small pieces. Wow! What is that about? The vinegar is a strong acid, just like many foods we eat, Mom says. The vinegar softens the eggshell so it cannot protect what is inside anymore. Mom smiles at me and says, "That is why you must brush your teeth. Brushing cleans the acid off from them. If you do not brush, the acid will break the enamel. You will have many cavities and toothaches after." There is one thing that I really, really hate doing. What is it? Brushing my teeth. I just don't see the reason for all this brushing. Mom is always making sure I brush in the morning, and I brush my teeth before bed, too. Why? That's what I want to know. Mom is a science teacher. She likes experiments. She says showing is always better than telling. So we make a deal. First, Mom has to prove that it is really important to brush teeth at least twice a day. If she does, I will brush my teeth without any complaining. "Okay," says Mom, "here is what we need for this experiment. We need a boiled egg. We need a small jar. We need some vinegar. Vinegar is sour and really strong. I think this will be interesting. I can hardly wait to see what Mom is going to do."
Listen and practice.
Look at the sky. But do not look at the sun. The sun is very strong. Its light is so powerful that it can hurt your eyes. Do you know how far the sun is from the earth? It's about 150 million kilometers away. Wow, that's really far. Even though the sun is far away, the light is still very strong when it reaches us. So the sun is one of the most powerful things in our world. Do not be afraid of the sun. It is an important friend. It keeps us warm. It gives us light so we can see. It makes flowers and trees grow. There can be no life on Earth without the sun. That is why we call it our friendly sun. It is our friend because it gives us many things. But be careful. It is a very powerful friend.
Listen and practice.
Little Irene drew an interesting picture. The picture was of a mother and a daughter sitting at a table in front of a house. Mom asked, "Who are they?" "It's me and you," said the little girl. Dad saw the picture. He wasn't very happy. He asked, "Where is the daddy? Why am I not in the picture?" "Daddy is reading books inside the house. He is not playing with us." What Irene said was true. Her dad was busy studying to become a doctor. He spent all his time reading books. He was so busy that he didn't have time to sit outside with them. Irene's mom pointed out, "See, that's how your daughter will remember you. If you keep busy like this all the time, you won't be in any of her childhood pictures." From that day on, Irene's dad started going out more often with his daughter and wife.
Listen and practice.
My brother is the oldest among the 6 children in our family. He is smart, but he had to drop out of school at the age of 12 to help our parents. There are too many mouths to feed. Late fall was the season for harvesting. My brother took me to the field where the sweet potatoes had just been harvested. We got up early to look for any sweet potatoes that had been left in the field. With a heavy shovel, my brother started digging. My job was to watch the ground to see if any sweet potatoes appeared. It was still a little dark. My eyes opened wide while my brother dug in the soil. "Wait! I saw one!" I yelled. My brother stopped digging. I picked up the sweet potato and put it in a basket. We were so happy. We felt like we had found a gold mine. An hour later, when other people had come to the field, our basket was filled with sweet potatoes.
Listen and practice.
Hi, Mr. Green. Sally waved to the old man sitting on his front porch. Don't say hi to him. He's mean, whispered her friend Josh. He's not mean. He's just sad. Sad about what? His wife went away. That made him sad. That night, Sally decided to draw a picture for her neighbor. She drew herself and Mr. Green sitting on his porch drinking lemonade. She drew big smiles on their faces and a bright sun in the sky. The next day, Sally gave Mr. Green the picture. He looked like he was going to cry. Sally felt bad. I just wanted to see you smile again, she said shyly. Mr. Green looked up from the picture. Would you like some lemonade, Sally? He asked. Yes, I would. Thank you. As Sally and Mr. Green sat on his porch enjoying their lemonade, mean Mr. Green was smiling again.
Listen and practice.
One morning, Becky's father said, "There is a mouse in the kitchen. It is eating our food. We must get rid of it." Becky felt sorry for the mouse. "What will you do? Will you kill the mouse?" she asked. "No," replied her father. "We will set a special trap. When the mouse goes inside, it will not be able to get back out. Then we will take it to a field. It can live there with other mice." That made Becky happy. The next day, she looked at the mouse trap. There was a little gray mouse inside. It looked very frightened. Becky and her father took the mouse to a big field. Her father put the trap on the ground. The mouse ran into the field.
Listen and practice.
Eddie and Casey did not like eating vegetables. They liked meat and fish. They liked rice and bread. They even liked apples, grapes, and bananas. But they did not like vegetables. One day, their mom told them a story. Long ago, the native people in Canada grew 3 special vegetables. They planted corn, beans, and pumpkins very close to each other in the garden. The corn grew strong and tall. The beans climbed up the big, strong corn stems. The pumpkins made big leaves as they grew. The leaves kept the ground cool and wet. The 3 vegetables helped each other. They were like 3 sisters in a family. That is why the native people call these vegetables the 3 sisters. They are very special. Little kids grow big and strong by eating corn, beans, and pumpkins. Now, Eddie and Casey eat their vegetables every day.
Listen and practice.
Bess was very upset. She hurt her arm in the backyard. She cried a lot. Her mom cleaned the cut and put a bandage on it. Her aunt gave her a glass of water. "Bess, you know those tears running down your cheeks are falling to the ground?" "Yes," said Bess. "Those tears go into the ground. The rain takes them to the river, and the river flows into the sea. Then the hot sun makes the wet air from the sea rise up into the sky." Her aunt said, "This wet air becomes clouds. The clouds move over the land and rain falls from them. That rain fills our lakes. Our drinking water comes from those lakes." Bess looked at the glass of water she was drinking. "You mean I'm drinking my own tears?" she said, smiling. Her aunt laughed. "Maybe."
Listen and practice.
Some people do things for money. But Jonas Salk did things for people. Mr. Salk was born into a poor family, but he studied hard and became a scientist. At that time, a terrible childhood disease was killing many kids. It was making others very sick and unable to walk. It was called polio. It scared people everywhere. They wanted someone to find a way to protect children from this disease. But that was not easy. Nevertheless, Jonas Salk worked hard. In 1952, he discovered a vaccination that worked. Soon, polio began to disappear. The world was very happy. They honored the great scientist. Mr. Salk could have made a lot of money from his discovery, but he decided that he did not want to do that. He gave away his discovery for free. When a writer asked him why, he said, "I want as many kids as possible to get this vaccination. That alone will make me happy."
Listen and practice.
I'm the youngest girl in my family. My older sisters liked scary movies. I did not. But still, I ended up watching a scary movie with them. I was trying to act older. After the movie, I went right to bed. But I couldn't sleep. Every sound was scary. Finally, I started to fall asleep. But then I heard a noise under my bed. I was really scared. I screamed. My whole family came rushing into the bedroom. "What is under the bed?" I yelled. My dad reached under the bed and pulled out the monster. I screamed again. Then I laughed. It was our cat, Willie. Dad put Willie on the bed with me. I finally fell asleep. When I woke up in the morning, I said to my cat, "No more scary movies for me, Willie." I could see that he agreed. It had been a scary night for him, too.
Listen and practice.
There were 2 cats. One was gray, the other was white. White lived in a warm house. Every day he sat by the window, looking outside and feeling all alone. Gray did not have a home. He ran outside catching leaves and chasing mice. He did not have any friends either. Winter was coming, and the days were getting colder. One day, a door opened. Gray looked in. He saw White looking at him. The house was warm. Gray smelled delicious cat food. He took a step into the house. Then he took another. Soon he was in the house. He looked around. It was safe and warm. White walked over. The 2 touched nose to nose, sniffing each other. Soon they were cuddled together in the soft cat bed.
Listen and practice.
Alan's father wears a suit with a shirt and tie to work. Sometimes the shirt is blue. Sometimes it's green. Sometimes it's white. But every morning he needs Alan's help to get a tie that matches his shirt. What's the problem? Alan's father is colorblind. He cannot tell green from red. He cannot tell blue from green. Nearly 1 in 10 men has some kind of color blindness. The most common kind is red-green, but some people cannot see any colors at all. Imagine how hard that is. Think of how dull the world looks to someone who cannot see colors. Luckily, Alan's father has Alan to help him out. Still, it's a problem he lives with every day.
Listen and practice.
One day, Dad asked me to help him plant some green peas. We put them a few inches into the ground. We covered them with soil and watered them. Every day, I went out to check if anything happened. Days passed, and I started to think planting was a waste of time. Then, one day, as I was doing my usual check, I noticed something. There were little green leaves poking out of the soil. It may seem silly, but it was very exciting to see this. The seeds we planted turned into plants. And these plants were going to grow sweet little peas. It made me think about how everything grows, even how people grow. In some ways, we are not so different from those little peas, I said to my dad. We need food, water, and a place to grow. I learned a lot from those little seeds.
Listen and practice.
One day, my mom and I were looking at our family pictures. "You look so much like your daddy when you smile," Mom told me. "Really?" I said. "But I have your eyes, right, Mom?" "That's right." A couple of days later, while I was practicing my dancing, Mom said, "Did I ever tell you that my daddy owned a dance studio? I bet you get your grace and love of dancing from him." Grandpa died before I was born, but after hearing my mom say this, I felt that I knew him better, since we had something in common. Who else am I like? Let's see. You have a lovely singing voice like Uncle Kevin. And you love girly things just like I did when I was your age. "I like those pieces of me," I said as I ran upstairs to sing to my dolls. "I like that there are pieces of me that are all my own."
Listen and practice.
9 out of 10 people in the world are right-handed. That means they use their right hand for doing things such as throwing, catching, and writing. But not everyone is right-handed. 1 person in 10 is left-handed. Being left-handed is not a big problem now. But not so long ago in Europe, left-handed people had terrible lives. Everyone believed that left-handed people were evil. If they were caught writing with their left hands, they could be killed. Left-handed children were forced to write with their right hands. They were often beaten until they stopped using their left hands. No one wanted to marry left-handed people. It was hard for them to get a job, and they often had no friends. Today, it's still not easy being left-handed. Most things in the world are designed for people who are right-handed. But the way we think about being left-handed has changed. We now know that left-handed kids are just normal kids who prefer using their left hand over their right to get things done.
Listen and practice.
Andrew and his family were out in their car. Dad was driving. Suddenly, a little bird flew into the windshield and fell. "Stop!" yelled Andrew. Dad stopped the car, looking sad. He said, "The bird is probably dead." Andrew jumped out of the car, pulling off his woolly hat. Gently, he picked up the bird and put it in his hat. Then he put the hat inside his coat. All the way, Andrew kept the bird warm. When they got home, Dad said, "We should bury that little bird, Andrew." Sadly, Andrew took his hat out of his coat and opened it. The little bird opened his eyes and looked at him. Dad, it's alive! Look! Shouted Andrew. The little bird hopped onto his hand and then flew into a tree. Well done, Andrew! It was you who saved that little bird, said Mom.